You were also asked to share your questions regarding the use of whiteboards with your scholars. And here you were first and foremost most curious about your other colleagues' plans to incorporate new smartboard use in their classrooms for next year. And some of your classmates were already on the right track to developing more interactive use. For example, Jennifer talked about using learner response devices. Gary talked about uh, taking advantage of the recordability feature of what you do on the smartboard. Mary mentioned using more reinforcing applications. And Gabriella talked about practicing handwriting in front of the students so they could see how it was done. You were also curious about the negative aspects of whiteboard use. And here the literature talks about the fact that we only have one interactive board in the classroom and how that lends itself for us to focus on more lecture-based whole group discussions instead of more interaction. And also, if you remember the times when we had regular blackboards and more than one kid could go to the front and write something at the same time, well, with the older models, we don't have that. And that is another thing that we're missing out on when we are using whiteboards. Last but not least, you felt like you were not using the smartboard to full potential and you wanted to know about your classmates as well and how they felt. And in this regard, what I want to suggest is that whenever you go to those resources online, like the Smart Tech Exchange, you look for the manipulative section and you try to identify those activities that allow your students to interact with the whiteboard. Remember that you can focus on using the smartboard in ways that you can engage your students to annotate, to draw, to resize, to add elements on the screen, to remove elements from the screen, to rotate, and to move objects as they are learning those skills and concepts you want them to learn. And so here's to wishing you a happy interacting with scholars via whiteboards, and that you can find a way to balance those positive aspects and benefits of using whiteboards with the constraints that it have in order to create the best learning experiences for your students.